Welcome to Extraterrestrial Reality. A couple of weeks ago, I received a email from someone named Aldo, who claimed that he runs a company in Italy, and his company had did an analysis of the Las Vegas alien video, and that company had came to the same conclusions as Scott Roeder, the crime scene reconstruction expert, with regard to the creatures in the backyard of the Kenmore family from last year. And he actually tagged me along with a few other people, other names in the UFO community, and he said that his company has a 20-page report prepared that they're going to provide anybody who wants to see it. Of course, I bit. I mean, I've been talking about this case for a long time now, right? And so he got back to me today. But anyway, before we even get there, before we get to what I received today, I want to talk about what he had talked about in this tweet from a week or two ago. This is what was said. This is what he stated.
But this is what he wrote on Twitter. He tagged my name along with a lot of other people's names from the UFO community, including, of course, Scott Roeder, along with Jeremy Corbell, George Knapp, Nick Pope, the Galileo Project, Michael Shermer, the debunker, Gary Nolan, Lou Elizondo, Ross Coulthard, and Joe Rogan. And this is what he wrote. He says, here's the bottom line. There is enough real data from the April 2023 Las Vegas UAP case and the 2008 Cumbergus Turkey UAP case to conclude that non-human intelligent entities are indeed with us here on Earth. If you ignore these two cases, then your credibility in the ufology ET space is severely diminished. I have followed the work of some of the biggest names in the ufology ET business. A significant amount of credibility on the topic has developed over the past few years because of these folks. Unfortunately, these same folks have almost completely ignored both the 2008 Cumbergus Turkey case and the 2023 Las Vegas case. Why? In both cases, we have unadulterated original videos with images of non-human entities. No added CGI, no pixel manipulation, no bit manipulation. In both cases, there is movement of the entities without added animation techniques. In the Las Vegas case, we have 3 witnesses of non-human entities where the independent descriptions of the entities provided by each witness match quite well. In the Las Vegas case, the independent descriptions of the entities by each witness matched the look of the entities seen in the unaltered video. In one perspective, the Las Vegas case, a non-human entity is seen approaching chase movement, the father and 2 brothers. The movement backward, the escape movement of the 3, is coincident with the forward chase movement of the entity. We have also proven that there is no shadow or reflection from the 3 that somehow generates an entity figure. In the Las Vegas video case, the entity head movement seen at the top of the fence is coincident with shadow movement seen near the bottom of the fence, indicative of leg movement coincident with head movement, as one would expect during an approach or walking. In the Turkey case, at least 2 independent researchers have identified 3 non-human entities hovering over a 4th entity, which appears to be human. It says here, the bottom line here is that there is, at the very least, enough data to justify further investigation. The data is not definitive proof, but it is very close to it. Well, let me just stop there. That's probably the only sentence in Aldo's post here in which I do not agree. I think the data is definitive in the Vegas alien case because, I mean, in addition to the witness statements, you have the evidence on video, which was video, as we all know, had no CGI tampering, and there are most certainly creatures that you could see in there. And so I think that is definitive proof that there is some non-human intelligent presence on this planet right now. Anyway, continuing. The most compelling data is from the Las Vegas case where 3 independent observations of the aliens match each other and the images in the video match the independent observations. That's real data. In the Turkey case, 3 entities are observed hovering over a 4th entity, which appears to be lying horizontally. This matches scenes described by abductees who repeatedly describe a very similar scene. But the big names in ufology have all but dismissed both the Turkey case and the Las Vegas case, which makes many of us skeptical of their motives given the high quality of the data in these cases. My company, AdaptNet AI, has concluded an analysis of the original video taken from a cell phone held by the mother of Angel and his brother in the Las Vegas case. We see several entities in the backyard, many approaching the family members in a cloaked fashion. We see several of the entities moving their mouths as if to growl as they approach the family members. We have identified the cloaking method. The next steps include further investigation at the former home of the family with Las Vegas Police Department, with neighbors, with videos from neighbor cameras, with police body cam and other videos. Our initial report is about 20 pages long with references to video snippets and with embedded pictures. It is available for those interested in further research. And yes, that paper, he said, when I was in contact with this person today, he's indicated that he will provide a copy of that report to me in about 7 to 10 days, and then he will also appear on my podcast. That's what he indicated.
So that's what he said. And now, today, he got back to me. Well, I actually got back to him before, and I said, yeah, I want to see, I'd like to see the report. And he said, well, his lawyers are looking through it, and he'll get back to me when, in a week or two. So he got back to me today in a private message on Twitter, X. And this is what the message says. It says, hi, Jim. Hope all is well with you. We have heard back from our legal department, and this is what they are recommending. See below. If you are okay with the proposal, then I will ask them to proceed with the logistics. I apologize for the formality. It does probably seem like overkill, but over 50% of our business is for United States federal contracts involving entities such as the Department of Defense, NASA, NOAA, etc., as well as EU state contracts, and therefore we try to keep a low profile. In fact, for most of the government contracts, we deal with material that is top secret or equivalent depending on jurisdiction, and therefore we need to be extremely careful with what we release. As you are fully aware, even what appeared to be simple videos contain much more information than most people and most machines see within the video. Likewise, for other types of data and information, such as audio. We are indeed subcontractors on certain advanced science projects now owned by some of the very large government contractors, and these projects are disguised as advanced technology R&D. We are a global company and are EU-based in Italy, not the United States. However, we do have significant presence in the United States under different names, some of which you may be familiar with. I was born and raised in Castellalveri, Italy, studied at universities in the USA and Italy, and started AdaptNet while pursuing postdoc studies. Unfortunately, there are other companies with very similar names to ours, and that will be explained in a formal bio. I will provide this more extensive formal bio once and if we come to agreement on how to proceed. I have seen and enjoyed your most recent podcast. Some of the new information that you have presented is indeed in our report, but I'm raising a caution that some of the data presented is not non-human intelligence. That doesn't take away from your hypothesis, which is solid, however. It is very easy to misinterpret some of the data in the video. We use several self-checking and cross-checking methodologies to identify suspected NHI in the video. That is, each technique is used as a sanity check against the other techniques as well as itself. For example, if there are N techniques, such as each Y technique of the N checks itself as well as the sanity of the output of the remaining N1 techniques. It's a complex but explained very well in the report. In any event, let us know if you are still interested and are okay with the proposal. Then we will proceed as outlined. Continuing here. And his name is pronounced, I said Rittondale. It's Aldo Ritondale. Ritondale. The A phonetically is like hey, but the H is silent. Okay. Ritondale. Okay. Sorry about the mispronouncement of your name. Sorry about that. But anyway, continuing. And here's the proposal from AdaptNet Legal. It says, Mr. Jim Quirk is asked to provide his full name, address, email, phone number no later than September 20th, 2024. Version 1.0 of the report that analyzes the video provided by the family in Las Vegas will be available by 2300 CST, 5 p.m. Eastern, USA, September 20th, 2024. This version 1 will be encrypted, self-destructing document that will self-dissolve on September 27th, 2024 at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. The version 1 will also be non-copyable. This is done using knowledge of the internals of all software used to make copies, along with an applet embedded in the document itself. We are proposing a pre-podcast discussion between Mr. Jim Quirk and Mr. Aldo Ritondale. If I'm still pronouncing that wrong, I mean, I'm sorry. Some people call my last name Cork instead of Quirk. Sometimes they say Cork, you know. So what are you going to do? Anyway, I apologize if I'm still butchering your last name. But anyway, we are proposing this pre-podcast discussion between the two of us on September 27th, 2024, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. This discussion is an informal opportunity for Mr. Quirk to ask questions and to decide whether or not he wants to move forward with the podcast to discuss the report openly. Between September 27th, 2024 and October 1st, 2024, Mr. Quirk and Mr. Ritondale will establish the date and time of any pre-podcast, and post-podcast meetings if and where warranted or desired. Prior to assessing the report on September 20th, 2024, Mr. Quirk will be provided with a formal NDA and release document to sign on September 20th, which will cover AdaptNet's policy on information sharing of intellectual property and other data, and if and how said information can be used in broadcasts such as podcasts, radio programs, TV programs, etc. The NDA and release document or documents must be signed prior to the release of the report to Mr. Quirk. A permanent, non-self-destructing version of the report will be made available after any podcast. If there is no agreement on pursuing a podcast, a permanent report will not be made available. The reason for restricting the report in this way is strictly IP related. There is no presumption about Mr. Quirk and any intent to use the report for economic advantage or any other advantage. This is simply formality. Well, now I don't know if you understand here, but let me explain it to you. I have a show. It's, you know, I'm trying to cause disclosure to happen here. I don't know, and you're asking me to sign a non-disclosure agreement to look at a 20-page report of something that we've already proven? Why don't you just release the report if that's what you got, Aldo? Or is what's going on here? I mean, you're related to the government here. What's going on here? This sounds really fishy to me. There's a lot of different possibilities here, and none of them are good. None of them are good, right? What are you doing, right? I mean, okay, you tell me that you're related, you have contracts with people, with government, with defense contractors over here. You work with the Department of Defense and NASA and so on and so forth. And now you're asking me to sign an NDA before you'll discuss your 20-page report on the Las Vegas alien incident, which was already approved by Scott Roeder and myself. We've been talking about it since April 2nd with our proof. Why don't you just release it? What's the big deal here? And if there's something in there that's proprietary in your 20-page report, then black it out. Black it out. You said in your original message that you put on Twitter a couple of weeks ago that you agreed. You agreed with the analysis, and now you're asking to have me sign a non-disclosure agreement. What are you, nuts? I mean, for all I know, here's another thing. For all I know, this could be. I mean, I don't know who you are. I mean, maybe what you say is true. For all I know, you could be some guy sitting in your mom's basement in Jersey. I have no idea. But I don't think that's the case. I think what might be going on here, first blush, right? At first blush, it looks like you're trying to get me to sign a non-disclosure agreement, which would in effect probably make it so I couldn't talk about this anymore. Like a way to make someone shut up about something. Is that what this is? What, do you think I'm stupid? So, you know what you could do with that. You know what you could do with your NDA and your bullshit report. You know where you could put it, right? And I don't want to hear, don't even bother contacting me anymore. This is my response to your message, all right? Don't bother me. If you have something to say, don't tell the public about it. If you found something that proves, that helps prove what we've already proven, you have more information, then why don't you put it out there yourself? If there's something proprietary in there, take it out. I'm not signing any NDAs, and I don't want to ever hear from you again. If that's what this is, right? If that's what you're trying to do, trying to get me to sign off on something just so I don't, so what? All the stuff I've been talking about, and then I sign an NDA, and then you show them a report, and it says all the same stuff I've been talking about, then I can't talk about it anymore. Is that what you're trying to do? How stupid? How stupid would somebody have to be to sign an NDA like that? But then again, I don't even know if this is what you're doing is real. I don't know if you're playing a game or what you're doing, right? Or what this is not. This is nonsense. Why don't you just come out with it yourself? You don't need me. You come out with it yourself. Do your own show. Do your own podcast. Put your own production together and talk about it. Why does anybody need to sign an NDA for something that's in the public domain? It doesn't make any sense. It sounds like a trick. It sounds like a trick to me of some sort. I don't know exactly what kind of trick, right? Maybe you're some other kind of scam, right? I have no idea, but it doesn't sound healthy to me, right? So, and I did run it by some other people I know, and they all felt the same way. So you could take that, your non-disclosure agreement, and put it where the sun don't shine for all I care. Anyway, I just want to say thank you all for joining me. Until next time.